Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. Talk about Blu-rays here. And it is that time of year when we start to look back at 2024 and see what were some of the best things to come out. And I'm going to do, obviously, multiple videos for this. I'll do this one and 4Ks and then Blu-rays, maybe another depending on how much stuff I have. But I thought I'd start with box sets. So these are Blu-ray box sets that came out in 2024, as far as I know. And I've got about 10 of them to talk about. And it was a neat year for box sets. It always is kind of interesting to see what the various labels do with the box set world, paradigm, if you will. And so I've got quite a variety here of stuff from a bunch of different labels to talk about. And I'm going to start with the very top for me right now, which is my favorite box set of the year is the Columbia Noir number 6, the Whistler box set. And this set was a full-on discovery for me. Like, I had vaguely heard of these films, but really didn't know them that well. Didn't know that this series was based on a popular radio program and spun off into this Columbia film series, most of which are starring Edward Dix, who's an actor that I was, I guess, like lukewarm on, if I'm honest, before this set. And after this set, my attitude has shifted for sure, because these are very interesting. They're like Alfred Hitchcock Presents kind of shorts. I mean, short film. I mean, they're films, but they're short in that they're only about 60 to 70 minutes, which is another reason I love this set, because you can just like plow through I think there's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 of these films relatively quickly. And I did that when I got the set over a few nights. I, blew through 3 or 4 a night and just love them. Absolutely love these films. There is, like I said, a nice variety of stuff. So you have the Whistler, you have the Mask of the Whistler, Power of the Whistler, Voice of the Whistler, Mysterious Intruder, Secret of the Whistler, The 13th Hour, and Return of the Whistler. And I think for me, the big winner was, the Mark of the Whistler is the second one. Power of the Whistler, but these are really great. I mean, I'm just going to go through real quickly. Like, the first Whistler movie has that sort of classic setup where you have a guy played by Richard Dix who has hired a hitman to kill him through an intermediary because of circumstances, which I'll let you find out when you watch the movie. And then he decides he wants to call it off, and the intermediary has been killed. And so it's very difficult for him to do that. And that's sort of that one. Mark of the Whistler, I think I'm remembering this right, is one where, if I'm not summarizing this one, I'm summarizing as another one. It's one where a guy has the same name as somebody who's advertised in the newspaper as having like a large bank account that with a lot of money, I want to say like 25,000 or a lot of money, that hasn't been claimed. And so Richard Dix is sort of a vagrant guy who finds out about this and wants to claim the money, but obviously there's strings attached, and that one's entertaining. But Power of the Whistler is the one for me because it's really fascinating. It's basically Dix plays a guy who, unfortunately, we hear at the very beginning of the movie is out for revenge for something. And the other thing about this is that there's sort of a narrator character. Whistler is like this guy that you see at the beginning in the shadows that's sort of like the omniscient narrator, the Rod Serling or whatever you'll have. so in the beginning of Power of the Whistler, he's said to have this revenge thing, and then he gets hit by a car and his head smacks against a post, and suddenly he has amnesia, and it becomes an amnesia noir. And he gets found by this woman, and she wants to help him, and he has these objects in his pockets, like a receipt for a birthday cake. Let's see here, or is it flowers? He has like a prescription. He has like a key. I want to say like a cigarette lighter. Anyway, so they start to investigate the objects to sort of figure out who he is. And as it goes, it becomes more clear that he's kind of an evil dude and the woman's in danger, and it's a great build, and I loved it. Anyway, great features, wonderful set, definitely my favorite of the year, and just love these movies. So glad that Indicator put these out. Now, this is a Region B locked disc set, so you would need a region free player to play it, but well worth your time and well worth getting. That's definitely my favorite of the year. Next after that, this Prisoner box set, the complete series. Now, this television show has been out on Blu-ray before on a couple different versions. I want to say like Network did one, and A&E maybe. But this Imprint box set is, for me, the definitive one. And they've gone back to, I want to say they went back to the original, 35 Elements. It has 2 feature-length documentaries. It's got just a ton of extras. I think it has almost all the extras from the other sets, but it's an incredible show. If you aren't aware of it, Patrick McGoohan plays a character much like his character in Danger Man, which is, they include some episodes of that in this as well, who's a spy who wants out of MI5 or whatever, and so he tells his boss he quits, goes home. This is in the like opening credit montage. And then he's whisked away. He sort of goes home and he's gassed, and he's whisked away to this like sort of island peninsula community where he is a prisoner. And they basically want to know what he knows and if he's going to give up information. And so it's him and sort of a rotating head of this community called Number 2 that he's always sort of going tete-a-tete with and always trying to escape. And there's this giant white balloon bubble that will grab you if you try to leave the area. And it's amazing. And it was a passion project for Patrick McGoohan. He actually found this, and I think they include the episode. They found this location, this island peninsula location town, which is awesome, while they were shooting a Danger Man episode. And he's like, I got to do something with this, and then sort of helped develop this idea. And it's one of the greatest television shows ever. So beautiful set, love this one. 3 discs and a book and lots of features, an absolute must. Let's see here. Let's do some more conventional. The Thin Man collection. Now, yes, I know that these have come out individually already, but I think it's great that Warner Archive has made the Thin Man collection available as a 6-disc, 6-disc set. And so you get all the films and all the features from all those discs, which I believe includes the documentary, and I can't remember which one it's on, unfortunately. That's the one thing I will say I wish they had listings of the features on the back. But yeah, this has all 6 films. I adore these movies. I love that they're now available in this single box set, which will, be cheaper than buying each one individually. I may keep my individual Blu-rays because I like sort of having them, but this is one of the great film series, like, period, in my mind. I mean, certainly one of the best of the 30s, one of the best detective film series, one of the best married couples on film. Nick and Nora, William Powell and Myrna Loy are just off the charts adorable, and they just rule, absolutely. And I like all these films. I think in particular, I mean, the first film is obviously fantastic, but in particular, I've come to really like, I want to say After the Thin Man? I think that's the one with Jimmy Stewart. But also, I really like Thin Man Goes Home, and he goes back to his hometown, and there's like a mystery there, and he's like supposedly quit drinking, and he's drinking cider or something, but his parents don't believe him, and his dad, it's funny because he's such a great detective, but his dad always wanted him to be a doctor, and so his dad is kind of unimpressed with all this stuff, and Nora is just like, just won't have it. It's kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, he's one of the great detectives. You're not proud of your son? What's wrong with you? And then, of course, he gets to prove himself by solving this little mystery that's going on in his hometown. And so it's like outside of the urban setting. And, oh, man, I just love it so much. It's really become like maybe my second favorite in the series. So really, really great series. So wonderful to have it all here in this Thin Man collection set. A great gift for the classic film fan in your life, and for the cartoon fan in your life, another box set from Warner Archive. This is Looney Tunes Collector's Choice Volumes 1 through 4. Now, this is interesting because we had the 3 previous volumes available already, and now the 4th one is available as a solo if you already have those 3, but it's also included in this set. And so you were getting so many 97 remastered classic cartoons, hours and hours of the funniest animated classics from the Warner Brothers archives. This set is an absolute must for cartoon fans, Looney Tune fans. It is just really something special. For diehard fans of Warner Brothers classic animation, Looney Tunes Collector's Choice Volumes 1 through 4, here in one superb set, the 4 discs will transport you through the golden era of Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies, with 97 remastered cartoons, all looking better than ever on Blu-ray. All the great Warner Brothers stars share the spotlight here, including Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Elmer Fudd, Roadrunner, and Wile E. Coyote, Tweety and Sylvester, and many more. Representing the legendary animation geniuses, including Chuck Jones, Friz Freleng, Tex Avery, Bob Clampett, Robert McKimson. This collection features exceptional rarities as well as fan favorites. It's an amazing compendium from the studio that created the funniest animated cartoons in film history. Yeah, this is just an absolute must. So much great stuff in this set. Again, you can get these individually if you'd like, but as a box set, I really think it's a no-brainer gift, if you're somebody that loves cartoons and doesn't have them. So that's an absolute must. Those two, the Thin Man and the Looney Tunes Collector's Choice sets. All right, let's see here. Next up we have Seeing Red, 3 French vigilante thrillers from show favorite label Fun City Editions. And this is another one where I didn't know what any of these movies were. My friend Jonathan Hertzberg over at Fun City Editions put these out and found these, and included here is Shot Pattern, Street of the Damned, and Blacklist. And I would say Blacklist and Shot Pattern in particular, I really, really dug. Street of the Damned I liked, but I think others will like it more than I did. But regardless, it's a great set of these French thrillers. Shot Pattern is, let's see here, a Paris flea market vendor is transformed into a vigilante after his fiancée is murdered by 3 vicious thugs. That's what Shot Pattern's about. Just sort of him trying to find these thugs, going to the police, but them not fully being effective for him, and him sort of taking the law into his own hands. And it's just got a great noir edge to it. I really enjoyed that. Street of the Damned is based on David Goodis, and really interesting in terms of like it's just a little surreal almost in terms of its story, and I don't want to get too far into it, but it's pretty intriguing. I've heard comparisons to Streets of Fire and something else, but it's lower key in terms of that. But the one that really got me is Blacklist, which is about 3 teenage Parisian punks are duped by a crime syndicate into committing a bank robbery, all while that will distract the authorities while the seasoned crooks hijacked an armored truck across town. So I don't want to give away too much, but basically this gang of punks gets tricked and they do the bank heist, and it turns into like a standoff, and there's 2 girls and a guy, and the girl's mom shows up, and she's like I guess she has some sort of criminal past, but now she runs an auto shop, and she tries to talk the daughter out of the thing, and a couple of the kids get killed, and then she gets involved in trying to help them, again, find this gang, and it is just really great stuff. Really dig all the performances, and her performance in particular. But yeah, I love this set. Some great extras, including commentaries from Travis Woods, and he does 2 of the movies, and then Barry Forshaw does an essay. Walter Chow does a commentary. Just a really great set. Highly recommended from Fun City Editions. Let's see here. Do a couple from Imprint more here. So this is the Uninvited, Unseen box set. And so it's 2 sort of classic ghost story type movies from the 40s. They're both, Uninvited from 44, Unseen is from 45. I'd seen The Uninvited. That's been out from Criterion. But this has a, I want to say this commentary from Alan K. Rhodey is new, and video essay by Kat Ellinger is new, and then they've got Gail Russell, The Flame That Burned Twice as Bright, interview with Imogen Sarah Smith, who I think is one of the great film critic, historian people out there, and so I love her inclusion in any set. So that's nice, even though if you have the Criterion, you don't necessarily have all that. But The Unseen was a movie that I'd never heard of, and that's a really cool thriller with Joel McCrea as the patriarch of this family of 2 young kids who bring in this woman played by Gail Russell to be their nanny, and she's immediately kind of like not sure about the job because he's kind of a grouch with her, and the kids are weird, and the son is talking to the old nanny, and she's kind of creepy, and there's like a Jack the Ripper killer loose in the neighborhood, so there's all this stuff going on swirling around this story, and I just really dug it. I thought it was really solid. I really liked Joel McCrea as a sort of grouchy, dad character in this. He's usually so much more affable, so it was weird but interesting to see him play this. Anyway, really liked this Unseen, Uninvited set. And then one more from Imprint. They're continuing their After Dark Neo-Noir cinema series. This is the 3rd volume, and this includes some really cool stuff, including Homicide from David Mamet, which is, I think, a Blu-ray debut, and a movie that I only just discovered like last year, finally, after having been aware of it for a long time. I remember one of my old video store comrades had it in his employee picks back in the 90s, and for whatever reason I tried it back then and I couldn't get into it. The sort of very Mamet dialogue takes a minute to get used to, because there's like repetition and there's almost like iambic pentameter or whatever the heck it is, and it can take you out. But Joe Mantegna is in it, and he's really, really good as this detective who gets sort of inadvertently pulled into a story, a case of a Jewish shop that's robbed, and the storekeeper is killed, and he has his own sort of background as a Jewish person, but he's not. He sort of keeps it under wraps, and he gets involved with this community that's mourning the loss of this man in the shop, but they have their own things going on. Anyway, really fascinating stuff. Really dug that. White Sands, which is almost a little bit Red Rock Westy, with Willem Dafoe as a sheriff who finds a body and some money and then pretends to be the guy that was killed to try and find out where the money came from, and yeah, it's really solid. That's a newer one I saw last year too, I think. And then there is The Crossing Guard with Jack Nicholson, the Sean Penn film, which has a ton of features, and Heaven's Prisoners with Alec Baldwin, as well as Under Suspicion with Gene Hackman and Morgan Freeman. Really interesting one that I hadn't seen before, but had meant to see. Intriguing. And then Dirty Pretty Things from Stephen Frears, also included in this set. And at least a few of these are Blu-ray debuts, and I'm blanking on which ones, but I know Homicide is, and I think White Sands is. But again, really nice stuff, and they do each disc in its own case, which is great, and it comes with a nice booklet. These are great sets. This is the third one they've done, and they're all really solid, so big fan of those. Speaking of noir, I love that Kino continues to put out these film noir dark side of cinema sets, and these are always interesting. They are sometimes a mixed bag in terms of good and great movies, which is, just something that's going to happen ultimately. But I really enjoyed this one. This is, what is this, number 17, I think? It's the one with Edward G. Robinson on the cover. It's 3 Edward G. Robinson movies, and I love that they did that thematic for this. So in this set, you have a movie called Vice Squad, Black Tuesday, and Nightmare. And these are all interesting. Vice Squad, he's like a police... Vice Squad, Robinson is captain of detectives Barney Barnaby, who has one tough day working to catch a killer and thwart a bank heist over the course of 24 gripping hours. Black Tuesday, Robinson is at his snarling, savage best as a violent killer who bursts out of prison and takes hostages in a deadly confrontation with the cops. And Nightmare, Robinson helps out his brother-in-law, who has a very convincing dream that he murders a man. His brother's played by, let's see here. Oh, shoot. I'll have to check it out real quick. But yeah, one of those amnesia noirs that I love. Kevin McCarthy, for gosh sakes, is the brother-in-law. But the winner for me is Black Tuesday, hands down. It is one of my favorite Edward G. Robinson performances I've ever seen. He's just so good as this. What is his name? Is he? I can't remember the character name in this, but he's just so solid and so dark. Let's see here. Vincent Kennelly. And yeah, this one also has Peter Graves as somebody who gets out. They get out in a really cool way. The jailbreak is neat. I've never seen it done quite that way. And it just goes really dark in terms of the stuff that happens afterwards and the folks involved. And it has a great ending that I just love. So that's one of my favorite discoveries of the year. So I had to include this set. But there always is some interesting movies in these sets. And I just recommend keeping an eye on them. If you're a noir fan, these are, almost always worthwhile and have nice commentaries always included. So that's a good one. Then we have, of course, I can't leave off All the Haunts BRs, the second of this folk horror series that Severin Films has done. That first set was just an all-timer, and this one is no exception. I've barely had time to go through this, barely watched any of the movies, but this presentation is just ridiculously nice. So, you have your movies all, To Fire You Come at Last, Psychomania, Enchanted, Who Fears the Devil, The White Reindeer, and a lot of these include short films too. Edge of the Knife, Born of Fire, 10 Island Scales. These are from all over the world. Bakaneko, A Vengeful Spirit, Nang Nak, Sundal Belong, Susanna the Queen of Black Magic, Beauty and the Beast, Demon, November, Litan, Blood Tea and Red String. So many of these I've never heard of. And I'm so excited to dig into this. But look at this book. This is like embossed gold, beautiful book that comes with this set. And it's just, I mean, this is just lovely. And includes the introduction by Kayla Janice, who obviously shepherded this set and the previous one. Essays by Kim Newman, Cynthia Paleo, Sarah Gailey, Steve Duffy, Ramsey Camp. I'm just skipping through some of these, but yeah, just tons of little essays and stuff. A beautiful, beautiful book, and a beautiful set ultimately. So, I mean, this is going to be on a lot of people's lists. Like, how could it not, But I had to mention it for sure because Severin just does really nice work with their sets. I got to admit that, they can be a little expensive, but what you're getting is just top quality presentation and really interestingly curated films and just really nice stuff. So that's one. And then lastly, the first box set from Cauldron Films, Houses of Doom. This is 4 Italian horror films by Lucio Fulci and Umberto Lenzi. Go back and watch. I just put out an interview with Jesse Nelson and Brian Izzy from Cauldron, and they talk all about this set, the work they did on it, and the restorations and that they did, themselves and stuff for the most part. Your mileage might vary with these films in terms of like what you think of them, but they're all interesting and they're all kind of crazy Italian horror. And if you're into that, these were all, I just love this idea that that some, I don't know if it was a TV station or they basically Lenzi and Fulci were hired to make these television films. And of course, being the crazy Italian directors that they were, the films themselves ended up being a little outlandish for television, and so didn't fully get released right away, and so these have become kind of lesser known in that respect. House of Clocks, House of Witchcraft, Sweet House of Horrors, and The House of Lost Souls are included here. Lots of great extras, and they've just announced another Italian horror box set, which I can't wait for, is likely to be on my list for next year, but I just really love those guys, and I love Cauldron. I think it's a fascinating label, and I've been enjoying seeing their success in a very short time. But very excited for their first box set. If you like Italian horror, definitely recommend the House of Doom set. So that'll do it. That is 10 box sets that were some of my favorites from this year. Let me know what I missed. I know there's a lot of box sets that folks like that I haven't talked about, and I'm sorry I can't get to everything, but I just wanted to put out this video and get some recommendations out there around the holidays for y'all to check out if you're still buying gifts, or if you have gift cards and you want to spend that money and you haven't picked some of these up. These are all worth your time. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.